So I've been asked to give the talk in English. Before I step into my topic, I just wanted to say what an amazing setup this is, and to just cheer again for Shelley, because normally when you lecture, you're asked to talk, you come, you do it, and you go away. And even within our team, there was support, there was teaching, there was critique, there was structure, there was revising, there was going back, there was reflection, there was learning, there was everything that women do so well for each other and enable us to thrive. So thank you, Shelley. So we have it on record in English as well. So my talk is somewhere over the menopause rainbow. And I'm here to, one of the things that we were told in our prep day was, what is your takeaway message? What do you want people to walk away from your lecture thinking about? So I did my homework, and I thought about that. I thought about a lot of things that I wanted you to take away. But these are my three key takeaway questions. So AgeTech is a rapidly growing market, and the longevity economy is huge and growing. If the world is doing one thing, it's getting older. And the older it gets, the more women get older. So in effect, it's an economy of old women getting older who have money, okay? And we need to be tapping into that. Americans 50 plus spend $7.6 trillion in 2018 on wellness and longevity and health products. The numbers are growing. If you check where the money is in the world, it's with people that are boomers. And they earned it. They have it, they spend it, they know what to do with it, and guess what? Most of them are women. FemTech, on the whole, leaves 30 years of womanhood out of the game. FemTech kind of tends to stop when our womb stops. We have products that hit menopause, and then it's gone. Poof! Womanhood has disappeared. We become gender neutral, if we become anything at all. And I'm on a campaign here to say, we are women until we drop dead. And we will drop dead different to the way men drop dead. Very differently, and we will have different needs on our way to dropping dead. So I'm here to kind of say, let's push this barrier and start thinking about women and their aging process. Women are different. We're different when we're young, we're different when we're old. One of the stations in my journey was the World Health Organization, looking at healthy aging across the ages. Women in different parts of the world have terrible aging experiences. But in the Western world, we have our own aging experience as well, and I wanted to kind of tell a classic story of a woman. She is 82. She turns up in hospital after she fell and broke her. Yay! Hip breaking for old women living alone at home. It sounds really, really repetitive. We've heard this story a million times before, and we know this story. And they say to us, oh, she's 82, she was living on her own, she tripped, we found her on the way to the bathroom, she was quite distressed, she's not being very coherent, we don't really know what's going on with her, she's quite light, and we need to figure out what's going on. We, of course, have to deal with that hip replacement. On the way, we also discover some other things that are wrong with her. This 82-year-old woman did a lot with her life. She was one of the first real estate agents. She ran a company. She was a business owner. She had 3 kids. She decided to divorce her husband in her late 50s because enough was enough. She had a few years of living on her own. She had a second partner. He passed away from cancer 4 years ago. She looked after him. She is a strong woman with a strong legacy and a strong history. But why did she fall? And I think that's key. Perfect. Why did she fall? The clicker, by the way, is a very stubborn clicker. And it's kind of like, okay, you can decide why she fell. One of the reasons, you can move to the next one. So, when they tested her in hospital, one of the things they said is they actually realized that she had really, really high levels of infection. And the infection that she had started from a urine infection. And she got a urine infection for lots of different reasons. One of the things that we all know when we get a urine infection, and if anybody here has anything to do with AgeTech, we talk about bladders and bowel quite a lot, so welcome to my world. One of the reasons that women specifically get urine infections when they're old is because we don't feel the stinging that occurs with a normal urine infection. She didn't feel it. But why did she get that urine infection? Why wasn't she drinking enough? If you drink enough, you don't get a urine infection. For lots of reasons. Physicality, our physical strength changes when we're old. The world is designed for young, strong men. The position of the handle on the fridge to open up the fridge to take water is a bit too high and a bit too hard and a bit more of an effort. My hand shakes when I'm taking it out. The kettle is heavy, and my bladder isn't as strong, and I have urine leaks. So I don't want to drink too much, and if I don't want to go out, I'm drinking even, if I'm going out, I drink a bit less. And generally, I try to monitor what I'm drinking. I also can't see as well. My balance isn't as great, so all of those things will impact how much I'm allowing myself to do things that would be normal up to now. My social life has changed. Since my partner passed away, or since her partner passed away, cooking meals, doing those kind of routine things that had a structure doesn't happen anymore. Losing weight, that tradition of having a cup of coffee with somebody in the morning and then drinking. So all of that routine has broken down, and I'm doing much less of that. And having a personality. I'm goddamn proud and independent. And even though my light bulbs are burning out, I'll be damned if I call my kids and ask them to do it. And I will definitely not tell anybody that it's really painful opening up the fridge door. And actually, if I had a water container on the counter, my life would be much easier. All of these things that I told you can lead to thousands of solutions in our world. We have a list here of the topics that AgeTech look at, generally, and we have the traditional map of what FemTech looks at. Okay? And really, when we're looking at that kind of stage and symptoms of menopause, all of the things that traditionally are FemTech kind of tail off towards the end of that period. But women continue to use their womb as a brain for the rest of their lives. So we think as caregivers. We want to nurture. We want to support. We don't want to be a burden. On the whole, this is stereotypical, but when we think about products for older women, these are the things that derive them. We also know that women, on the whole, approach technology different to men, and that becomes even more extreme the older we are. In our startup, when I talk to the group of app developing guys about developing new products, and I say something about what happens if you try and download an app and it doesn't work, then they all say the developers were idiots and they have bugs in them. If you ask women, and the older, the more, you try to download an app and it didn't work, they will say, oh, it's not for me anymore. The technology is quite complicated. I really should leave this to my children. I might mess it up and do something terrible and get it wrong. So we need to get much better at having technology that actually supports the population, understands how women will approach it. Yep. This is the gap, okay, just in case you missed that wonderful part of the series, yeah, of how do you develop vibrators for women over 70s with arthritis. Fantastic. That's our starting point. Women live on average 4.5 years more than men. 2/3 of the population over the age of 80 are women. Women's finance literacy is lower than men in all age, and the gap only grows as we get older. Women tend to go more frequently to primary care all the way through life, even more so when we get older, so preventative health, preventative care is possible, and women engage in preventative care much more than men do. So there are lots of opportunities to do things. I currently work with Assured Allies. We look at longevity and healthy aging, and this is the mission that we're looking at. And part of what we're trying to understand is how we get it better for all populations, ethnicity, gender, and all that in that game. And I could not finish my presentation without this fantastic quote from a fantastic woman who just won the Oscar. And ladies, never let anyone tell you you are past your prime. Never give up, and keep on rooting for a fellow woman. Anybody who wants to talk about bladder, bowel control, end of life, pain, anything like it, I'm really fun at parties. And if you want to throw in dementia, I really go out to town. Thank you very much.